Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. It appears, based on information that is circulating in the community, that many are looking at the newly released evidence that was until very recently under seal by the Moscow Police Department regarding their investigation into the catastrophic events at 1122 King Road, and then was under seal as certain of this evidence was addressed in the court case of Idaho versus Kohberger. This was, and still is, in my opinion, a very high-profile case that has garnered interest not just in this country, but across the globe. And one of the issues that I've had personally, and which many of our followers on this YouTube channel, as well as the podcast, which predated this YouTube channel, have, is the shroud of secrecy that encompassed this case, and to fully appreciate just how under seal this case was for the more than 2.5 years that it worked its way through the court system. I ask that you look at the docket, look at the case summary page to see just how many bits of evidence, declarations, stipulations, motions, responses, replies, those are the briefings, were under seal, if not totally a part thereof. We've curated the entire docket to the best that we could, given that so much was under seal, in our podcast, which numbers well over 800 episodes. We literally went down the docket, beginning with the affidavit of probable cause, which started everything. Without the affidavit of probable cause, there would have been no criminal complaint. There would have been no order finding probable cause. There would have been no warrants for Mr. Kohberger's arrest, because all of those items relied on and cited to the affidavit of probable cause, directly or indirectly. Throughout the next several hundred episodes, we went down through the docket. We made multiple notations of just how many things were under seal. If you have not yet had an opportunity to listen to the podcast and are interested in the case, now that such things as body cam footage, interviews with specific witnesses, video of the car that law enforcement and the state indicated is suspect vehicle 1, I encourage you to do so. The docket, unfortunately, is not searchable, but the podcast is right here on this YouTube channel. You can search the YouTube channel for, say you have an interest in a specific topic like IgG DNA or change of venue. Plug that search term into the search engine here on YouTube, and it will pull up the episodes as well as our content here on YouTube, and it will direct you to where that information can be found within the court documents. Or it will point you to the case summary page that says those documents are under seal. The case summary page is a running narrative of all of the items and activities that happened in this case from December 29th, 2022, its inception, through its closure of the case on July 23rd, 2025. And now, with the ongoing items that are still working their way through the court system, having to do, number one, with such things as restitution, and number two, where most of the filings post closure and post Mr. Kohberger's sentencing relate to, which is the matter of which of the documents that were filed under seal will, number one, either continue to be under seal from the public, will be released to the public, number two, or released to the public with redactions. This is a process that began on August 4th, 2025, with Judge Hippler's first order directing responses from the state, from the defense, as to the 2 last months of court activity from June and July of 2025. And then finally, in looking at things such as the body cam footage from the first responders, some of them have been released to the public and they're circulating. And I know that some of our viewers here are looking and analyzing and discussing that body cam footage showing the first responding officer, Officer Mitch Nunez, arriving at approximately noon or shortly thereafter. What his body cam image shows, he said, from his perspective, what he saw, other people, what they said, what they did, and then compare it to such things as the first responders' written report, and come to your own conclusions as to whether the report matches, seems to be consistent with the body cam footage, or not, in part or in whole. Same with the report of Officer Corbin Smith, of Sergeant Gunderson, of Corporal Snyder. They all wrote reports of their experiences at 1122 King Road as first responding officers. These are opinions, comments, rhetorical questions that I make pursuant to the First Amendment of the United States Constitution regarding this high-profile case. If you have any comments, any thoughts, any opinions on this very high-profile case that was closed almost 2.5 months ago on July 23rd, 2025, and still is largely under seal from the public, please leave them here. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you so much for joining us here today.